Hey there, everybody. Cackling at over there. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another awesome episode of On the Throttle with Jackie Van Ham and my buddy, the troublemaker over here, Josh Trokey, bringing you all of the breaking news out here in motorcycles and power sports. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We've got a great show for you today. I will be talking about, in my neck of the woods, Harley-Davidson is rocking its own version of the members only jacket and a magical new limited release from the folks at Vespa. Josh, what do you got going on in your neck of the woods?
The members only jacket. Wow, I remember those. I'm dating myself. Mia, I am talking about Dakar released some information about next year's upcoming, because it is next year of sorts, the next race that they are doing for the Dakar. And I am going to talk a little bit of trials, but it's going to be different than you think. So that one's going to be interesting.
You always love to keep us guessing out here, Josh, but we're all going to have to wait till after this word from our sponsors.
For all of your motorcycle ATV and UTV oil requirements, be sure to run Pen Grade 1. The unique base oil cut utilized in the original green oil and the enhanced levels of anti-wear additives provide strong protection while reducing internal friction for increased horsepower output under the most demanding conditions. Pen Grade 1 is proud to be made in the USA.
Cycle Trader, the nation's top marketplace for buying and selling motorcycles, just got even better. In the ever-expanding digital world, online shopping only continues to grow. With Cycle Trader's new digital retailing experience, Cycle Trader Buy Now, consumers can buy their next motorcycle 100% online, meaning the richest leads in the industry for dealers with faster closing and reduced overhead. Learn more at www.cycletradermediakit.com/buy-now. So as promised, Josh, for today's very first story, Harley-Davidson is rocking its own members-only jacket. Well, what I mean by that is Harley-Davidson just this past week launched its new and improved, updated membership community. That's right. The folks over at Harley-Davidson, the hog chapters that have been all over the planet for, I think, about 40 years now, has got a shiny new update. So let's go ahead and jump on into this story. Today's story, by the way, the background information is coming from our parent website, which is motorcyclepowersportsnews.com. Make sure you click over if you want more details about this story and plenty of other news out here on the interwebs. So, building on a 40-year history and success of its Harley Owners Group, the largest factory-sponsored motorcycle club in the world with over 500,000 members, Harley-Davidson launched its new HD membership program. HD membership is an industry-leading community platform and membership program that will bring together riders and moto culture fans under the United We Ride banner to connect, engage, and ride with one another. Now, right out of the jump, the minute I read that very first paragraph in the press release, I was like, this feels like an app is coming. This feels like Harley-Davidson is launching a shiny new app, and indeed they are. HD membership will allow riders and fans to enjoy a personalized experience of in-app social features, riding benefits, and access to the Harley-Davidson brand like never before. HD membership is a new and positive hub for moto culture, serving as inspiration to riders and non-riders alike. The current CEO, Jochen Zeitz, his quote is, "We're excited about giving our community of riders and non-riders a new way to connect on and off the road while ensuring we deliver unique and tailored content to really make their experience with the brand as personalized as possible. The HD membership will offer riders and non-riders new benefits to further unlock the benefits of the unique motoculture community. Like I said, there's a new app experience. Members can now explore new digital and social tools that enable sharing of experiences and for members to learn and be inspired by each other with the help of member profiles, member groups, ride planning, and sharing. I knew that was coming. And numerous other tools members can engage both on and off the road. There's unique and personalized content. That's right. They're also going to be having some content for you to help inspire you, as well as educational stuff, motoculture inspiring, HD community, and much more. Expanded benefits. HD membership provides high value benefits both on and off the bike, such as roadside assistance, motorcycle service, unique member products, and more. Additionally, members gain access to exclusive benefits and special offers through collaborations with Hilton, SiriusXM, AT&T, Eagle Rider Rentals, the Fuel Rewards program at Shell, and the introduction of loyalty rewards. With the new H-D membership program, members will earn points for purchases of HD products at participating Harley-Davidson dealerships and online at h-d.com. Members will also earn rewards for engaging with the community by sharing great content, riding together, attending events, and completing challenges. Members who also hold the Harley-Davidson Visa card can earn even more points and enjoy extra redemption options and benefits. So I thought that this was super fascinating, Josh. I thought this was really, really interesting because it is clearly very, very app driven. So it's a way of keeping everybody within their ecosystem, right? It keeps them contained. Instead of folks like going and wandering off and starting Facebook groups and all this other jazz on all these other platforms, it's a way to keep them all corralled into one place. But it's also, I thought, really fascinating because it's a way that you can share rides. You can tell folks where you're going. You can meet up and do rides together. I liked the idea of this new like rewards program. I hadn't heard that before. I'm not going to lie. This HD membership program, I have heard different OEMs partaking of this kind of technology. BMW comes to mind. Indian Motorcycle also comes to mind. So this isn't the first time for that, but this is, for to my ears anyway, the first time I've heard things like partnership with hotels, partnership for gas, and deals on both of those things. And if you shop online or at other dealerships, you can log and collect points and then redeem those points at, and now here's the kicker, at participating Harley-Davidson dealerships. This is where there is a little bit of a question mark. There's a little bit of a gray area because out here on the internet where other folks have been discussing the story and discussing the launch of this exciting program, they're saying, here's the thing. The dealerships have to buy into this program. It does cost money to be recognized as an authorized and participating dealer because, of course, that means you'll get featured on the app, but it does cost money. So not every dealer necessarily is going to jump in and participate. So this is where it gets a little bit of question marks. There's a little bit of gray area. Heck, whenever there's anything new, there's always going to be a little bit of a learning curve. But right out of the gate, I thought that sounded like a really incredibly cool program. Josh, what do you think?
To me, it's interesting because I'm seeing more and more stuff like this come out in more and more areas and industries because as people are leaving Facebook, they're starting to they still want to be connected. We all want that connection. And you and I, we've got a lot in common, but there's a lot of stuff that I do where you're like, I really don't care. And vice versa. So this is where people can go where they're like, look, I want to talk bikes. I only want to see bikes. I want to talk about my Harley-Davidson, and that is it. They log into this, and they know that is going to be 98% of what they're going to get. And to me, it's these types of niche things, that's what's so great. We no longer need this one big all-encompassing social media thing. Let's find these niche things that we can dive into. And I think Harley's onto something really good with that. The points program, that is going to be something where it's going to be interesting. I've seen some of these go up. I've seen some of these be great for companies. I've seen some of these where you only get a quarter of the dealers buying in and they're like, nah, and it becomes a total flop. I mean, Harley is about unity. I think that they will get most of their dealerships involved with this as long as it's reasonable for them to. And like you said, Harley has to do this with the dealership in mind of that they are going to see a return on investment with this. So they're going to have to buy in, but they should be able to frame it as, look, you're going to get more customers, you're going to get whatever. So all in all, I mean, I can see some of where there's possible chinks in the armor, but until it rolls out, and I mean, everyone's got it on their phone, I see this as a great move for Harley.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it also mashes up several existing apps that are already floating around. Like we've already touched on the social media aspect, but there's several like ride building and kind of ride sharing apps. Those in their own right sometimes are a little clunky because you can't like share the file a certain way unless somebody else has that app and yada, yada, yada. Like it gets a little complicated. So I think it's really clever to keep it all under one huge app. And I'm sure they've been working on this thing for a while now, because this sounds like an
Yes.
awful lot of infrastructure going into this app. Anyway, I think it's very exciting. I think it's a neat, cool thing. I, as a frequent flyer and frequent traveler, I enjoy a good rewards program. So I enjoy these sorts of perks and these sorts of benefits. But that's just me. So we're all going to have to wait and see how this rolls out.
For
So,
sure.
Josh, what do you got going on for your first story today?
It's my first story is all about the Dakar rally because hey, we're in July now, so we have to be thinking towards January when we're cold and miserable and what we're going to watch on television when that happens. So that being said, Dakar rally always starts right around first of the year. This year the rally is going to return to Saudi Arabia. There will be 12 stages. There are 5,000 kilometers. For those of you that don't like the metric system, that is about 3,100 miles. Um, this promises to be just as daunting as last year, according to the race organizers. There are some very challenging dune sections that are sure to test navigational skills. That is another quote from the organizers of this event. And to me, they're sent out in wide open spaces. It's not like turn left at the old barn. You're in desert that looks exactly like this for hundreds of miles, and you have to somehow figure out how to navigate that without GPS. That is the big thing, without GPS. Now, in this too, the other thing that they are doing is they are splitting and making different routes for the motorcycles and quads. They will have one route, and then cars and trucks will have another route, because what kept happening before is the cars would catch some of the bikes because the cars would just follow the motorcycle tracks. Now they're saying, look, you'll have a little bit of that, but for the most part, the routes are going to diverge. So the cars and trucks will have to find their own tracks. They will have to navigate themselves. That being said, too, the stage openers will get a time bonus, because if you're the first one to go, you obviously have to figure out where the heck you're going. So they are giving you a bonus if you're the first one out of the gate. That all being said, they are also doing a new 48-hour chrono stage, is what they're calling this. This takes place over 2 days. You are allowed no outside assistance, none. So you cannot
Wow.
visit with your team. If you take a tire and shred it, you got to run it for the full next day. There's some great footage of Toby Price putting a tire together with zip ties, because he still had to run a whole
Yes.
nother day on it. I'm pretty sure a number of us
Yes.
have seen that. So what happens with that too is that you have to camp on your own. Riders are allowed to help each other. So if I've got a spare, you've got we can swap stuff, whatever. What's interesting about this is before everyone camped in the same spot. Now they are setting up 8 campsites that at 4 p.m. on day number 1, you are to report to the next campsite. That splits up these riders all over the place. So you may only have 2, 3 other riders in your campsite. So to me, this is like true adventuring, because the next day you've got to be up and ready to go at 7 a.m. for, only a 600-kilometer stage. To me, this is just, this is why this is listed as probably the toughest motorsport event on the planet, because frankly, it is. Um, I don't think I'm going to try this, Jackie. What about you? I'm not a great camper. The helicopter trailing me looks kind of cool, but no, I
Yeah.
think I may not do this.
I'm into that. If the helicopter is my chase vehicle and it's bringing my
Right,
snacks and the things that I need, I'm
right,
totally down for this. No, so you're
right.
right. There's a couple of things about your story that I love. First of all, I love Dakar. It's one of my
Yes.
most favorite things. There's 500 stories every single year of just
Yep.
inspiration and human trial, and it's just such fascinating, fascinating racing. I am totally here for it. I do try to keep up with it every single year. I think that it's really interesting that they are not having the cars and the motorcycles run the same course for multiple
Yeah.
things. One is, yes, it is chasing somebody else's tracks, but two, it is incredibly dangerous. Almost every single
Yes.
year, you hear about motorcyclists getting run over by cars
Right.
or trucks, or at the very, very least, very, very close calls. but usually somebody gets run over. So I'm excited to hear about that change in the program. I think that the 48 hours of hell, or whatever you called it earlier,
Yes.
the 48 hours of it where you have to do it and suck it up and do the whole thing on your own. They've been having that category in the Dakar for several years now. In previous years, it was called the original class, where you had to run the race
Right.
by yourself with zero assistance. You brought your own tires and things on the back, and if you broke down, you had to spoon one on by yourself. If your engine exploded, you had to fix it. It is the brutalest class out of all of the racing that takes place. So if they're making everybody has to do it now for 2 days, I think that really adds a very, very spicy level to this race, which is very, very exciting. So yeah, I'm pumped. I'm glad that you chose to talk about this today.
Yeah.
It gets my goosebumps going. I can't wait for January every single year to check this out. So I'm pumped. I'm excited for one. So very exciting stuff going on for the folks over at Dakar. Now, for my second story for today, I'm talking about a release from the folks at Vespa that is indeed very magical. But first, we've got a word from our sponsor.
The road can throw a lot at you, but you can depend on Heidenau Tires to see you through it. Quality, made in Germany. For more info, go to HeidenauTires.com.
So the folks over at Vespa are releasing a very exciting new scooter. And this is in a long line of the history of Vespa of releasing these very cool, limited produced, collaborative scooters. They have one come out almost, it seems like, every single year. They partnered up with Justin Bieber last year and did a limited release. They just always got super neat stuff going on. I do love Vespa. They're an iconic brand. Their marketing is always just very slick, very European. It's just got a very particular point of view. I personally love it. I just really love what they do. I mean, they're Vespa, for goodness sakes. So they just released they just partnered up with a company that could not be really any more American if it tried, and that is Disney. That's right. The folks at Vespa are releasing a scooter in partnership with the folks at Disney. So you know this is going to have a Mickey Mouse Disney theme. I thought this was very cool. Let's go ahead and jump on into this story talking about this cool new Vespa. Vespa partners with Disney on a new Mickey Mouse special edition Primavera scooter. I think this is just super neat. The legendary scooter from Italy, the Vespa Primavera, is now available in a Disney Mickey Mouse edition, which features a striking paint scheme and which has come about as a part of a collab between Vespa and Disney to celebrate the entertainment company's 100th anniversary. Wow, I didn't know that. The specifications of the Vespa Primavera Disney Mickey Mouse edition are unchanged from the standard model, but the bike features a majority black and red paint scheme with a yellow front mudguard and wheel rims, which are representative of the cartoon character's shoes. Additional graphic details on the scooter include a design consisting of outlines of the famous Disney character's silhouette, as well as his signature, which is located both on the front shell and the saddle. You can see it right now on your screen. It is on the corner, that front shroud, and then again, you can see it on that rear saddle bag. It's hard to see in this picture because you have to get really up close to it, but it's really neat, just white on black, fine pinstriping, fine lining of Mickey Mouse. Michelle Colanino, Chief Executive of Global Strategy, Product Marketing, and Innovation of the Piaggio Group, which is, of course, the parent company of Vespa and several other awesome machines, said, "Dreams allow us to look to the future with optimism, even in complex times such as these. A timeless icon like Vespa could not fail to celebrate on this very special occasion of Disney's 100th anniversary an equally everlasting icon like Mickey Mouse with a tribute to creativity, imagination, lightheartedness, and fun. The very values that have always anchored Vespa." I totally agree, today as then. This collaboration between Vespa and Disney represents the celebration of two historic companies that have a common dream: to allow everyone to express their imagination freely. I think this is super neat. I think it's just such a very cool thing and just very fun. And I just wanted to bring that story up because I thought that was cool. The price for this is $46.99 US dollars. These will be heading to the dealership in short order. And I thought that was just really neat. I think it's a really interesting marketing situation when these companies are kind of trying to think outside of the box and reach a little bit outside of our direct communities for motorcycling, scooters, anywhere out here in power sports. You know, if COVID taught us one thing, it's that everybody wants to be in power sports. You know, bikes sold like crazy, scooters sold like crazy, personal watercraft sold like crazy, boats, you name it. People wanted to get out and play. And I think that we have to keep leaning into bringing new people into the fold. And if this is how we bring them in, I am here for it. The one thing I will say is I was a little bit surprised / maybe disappointed that there was not a Minnie Mouse version that came with red and white polka dots, but that's just me. Josh, what do you think about this Disney Vespa collab?
I think it's really cool. And I mean, when you look, there are some absolutely bananas Disney fans out there that just, I mean, love anything that's Disney oriented. So, I mean, if you've got someone that is a little bit Disney oriented that is going to look at that, then to me, it makes perfect sense. And it's a really good match for that. To
Well,
go
I'm
with
sorry,
those, I
Ashley.
think
Sorry,
it's
hold on
really
a second,
good.
Josh. Hold on a second. There we go. Let's stay on the Vespa. I know she was throwing in some Harley
Right.
Davidson, and ironically, I was just as you were talking, I was just getting ready to crack the joke of how you were like, people that are into Disney are like really into Disney, and I was gonna be like, the one
Yes.
thing that I think people are more gaga over is if there was like a Harley Davidson Vespa collab. But so ironically, Ashley read my mind and threw the Harley photos in there. Anyway, yes, I agree
But
with you 110%.
yeah, those
There's
people are
such a
crazy
great
about it.
opportunity to capture those Disney people, right?
Yep. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
once again, it is a great mix. I mean, when you look at the demographics too, there's a lot of overlap with those two. I mean, and plus, I'll be honest with you, the color scheme on this looks really, really, really good. It's not just this over the top collab for laughs and giggles. That color combo looks good.
Yeah, it's super sharp. It's super sharp. I can't wait to see this in person. Now, what do you have going on for
Yes.
your second story today, Josh?
So I am going to go a little bit in the woods here. In fact, a lot in the woods here, and we are going to talk trials. And there's an interesting thing about some of the trial stuff. Now, I've mentioned trials before, but here we are going to talk about the female side of trials. We are going to talk about Emma Bristow. She has won yet another award, and she's holding up 8 fingers there because she has won 8 world trials titles, which that is just, I mean, absolutely insane, absolutely unheard of. And that is part of what got her recognized during the King's debut birthday honors for her service to motorsport and her service to women in sports in general. And what I think is very cool about this is it's her service to women in sports in general is separate to her just general service to motorsport overall. Not as a woman, just service to motorsport. And I think that obviously is a very high honor with that when you look at how motorsports are regarded in the UK. She has 44 GP wins, like I said, 8 World Trials titles, and oh yeah, she has 2 World Super Enduro titles. The woman can ride a bike. Her grandfather was actually a road racer turned trials rider, which of course 2 of her uncles then picked up the trials bikes. So she grew up always around trials bikes, and there's 8 world titles that show that. She said, and this is a quote from her, and I thought that was really cool, and it's something that I've noticed too. She said, since I've been riding, there have been a lot more women riders. And that is a direct quote from her. And it's something that, I mean, not just since COVID, there's been a slow ramp up, but we're seeing that we're starting to get into the meat of that bell curve there of women coming in. And I think it's really cool to see. And like I said, for her to get this as the, like I said, service to motorsport is a huge award in the UK. I think it's awesome for her to get that. She is now awaiting the official date to when she will receive her reward at Buckingham Palace. So once again, to bring some props to the trials here, to bring props to Emma Bristow and everything that she's done for trials, for women in motorcycling, all the other stuff. This was a story that I just had to touch on. I know you've seen some trial stuff before too, Jackie. I mean, this is a good story. I just had to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you bringing it up. You and I both are suckers for trials and are just are just obsessed with it. I love to watch it. If you out there watching are not familiar with trials riding, please do yourself a favor and go get on Google's machine and go find some footage. It's just such an epic display of skill and unity with the machine. I just love watching it. And I'm going to go on out here, Josh, and just say representation matters. I love seeing women absolutely crushing it out here in power sports because we lead by example out here, right? The more we see it, the more other women realize that they can also jump in here and do it too. So I am here for it. So thank you for wrapping up several feel-good stories for today, Josh, to wind down our show today with. I always love that. But thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. As always, you can go check out some more stories as well as some more in-depth details about these stories today out there on our parent website, which is motorcyclepowersportsnews.com. And we will see you next week. Ride safe, everybody.